I'm a little bit stressed, you guys. Hi. Welcome to Go See Gail. This is episode 4 of God Doesn't Want Me to Bartend Anymore, and we're going to get into it. Okay, so I'm going to a birthday party, and everybody's bugging me. Like, my friends are like, hurry up and get over here, hurry up and get over here. I wasn't even supposed to go to this thing. I got the invite today, and my hair's crazy because it's hot. I'm on the second floor. Okay, sorry to already complain, but I gotta bang this out. I gotta bang this story out and then go meet the friends and then feel accomplished because I got this video done. Okay, so episode 4, here we go. Okay, so the thing that I like about Craigslist and applying to bartending jobs on Craigslist is I like to be able to upload pics, because when you just put on your resume, I've got 20 years experience, and you do these these sites like Indeed and other job sites, they always have to ask your ethnicity. And I don't like to say that because nobody wants to hire white people anymore, and I talked about that in another video. It's true. I get looked over a lot for that. And then also I'm not inclusive because I'm a straight person, I mean, I love girls. But I'm not like straight up gay, but girls are cool. Totally dig girls. So I feel like I get looked over, but what I do like about Craigslist is I like that you can upload pictures just to show, like, look, I'm holding up okay. All right. I'm doing all right. I'm like hot up here. I'm doing all right. So, and I usually get my jobs from Craigslist for that reason, because they see like, yay, she's joyful. She smiles. She's sweet. And that's what happened with this next bar. I got it off of Craigslist, and I'd never been there before. I've heard about it, never been there. I walk in, it's all red inside, and it looks just like several of the bars that I've worked at or have gone to in my life out here in California. We're gonna go back in history. Back in like the 60s or 70s, people that were making bars, people that were making bars back then did this just this one model that it looked like a kidney bean. It's all red inside and red and black inside and kind of shaped like a kidney bean. And the Sugar Sweet, the Lost and Found, the Stovepiper, there's a bunch of them that all look the same. When I walked into this bar, it was one of those kidney bean bars that I've worked at over the years. So I was like, I've already worked here like my whole life. Like, that's what I said as I was walking in. And then we talked about COVID and how she normally is open from 4 till 2, but after COVID she couldn't really do that, so she's opening her bar back up for the morning shifts, 6 in the morning till 11, which I'm not doing, or was not doing, and then 4 to 11, or no, 11 to 4, sorry, I always get them backwards. 11 to 4 was the shift that I was doing. And I was cool with that. I was like, that's cool. If the bar's already been around, I'll probably make it work. I'll get people in here. But it was difficult because I don't live around there. Like, I live like 15 minutes away from there, and that's work hours. The only people that were coming in were people that were like not working or retired, which is fine. That's all good. But it just was hard to get traffic. And a lot of people didn't know the bar was open because the sign out said open at 6 a.m. But they just left that sign out there for years. So it's like crying wolf, because now, no, we really are open now. We really are open now. So that sign didn't really help us much. So I did get people in there as much as I could. I nagged the hell out of my friends to have them come down and see me, but it was difficult to get a regular thing going. But I did bond with the owner over politics a little bit, because she was talking about COVID, and we just kind of like bonded, and we were on kind of the same side. And I want to take a minute and just say, look, I'm going to talk about politics once in a while on this channel. We need to get back to a place where we can just talk like we used to, like 30 years ago. We cannot think each other is stupid or dumb because you're voting this way or you voted that way. I mean, we all got to live here in this country and love each other as best we can. And tons of my friends are on the left and tons of my friends are on the right. We just have to love each other again and be able to talk again and just be friends again and not freak out and not be so divided, right? So part of my mission with this channel is to be able to do that if we can. We'll see what happens, I'll get hate, but I'm going to try to bring us together anyway. See what happens. What I liked about this lady is, well, there was a lot of things that were unique about her. She had a lot of rules. But one of her rules was she didn't care if people talk politics at the bar. And I'm like, I don't even want people to talk politics at the bar because I know it's going to piss people off. You know what I mean? Like, you throw alcohol and politics together and you could have like fist fights and knives coming out and all kinds of crazy stuff, you know? But she didn't care. She's like, no, I like a good debate. And I was like, okay, well, I'll only talk about politics if I know which side everybody is on. And if not, I'll just zip it, you know? I don't like confrontation. I don't want people to fight. I get it, but I just don't want people fighting. So I thought that was kind of strange because she did have a lot of rules. This bar just didn't work out for me because it wasn't busy enough, you know, I didn't have any kind of crazy things that happened to me. I just didn't make that much money there. And what happened at one point was somebody quit the night shifts. And so I thought, oh, she'll probably like give me and the other daytime girl maybe a shift or two since it's open, you know, and she didn't. And she just hired some 33-year-old kid with a big old chunky butt, you know, and I that's fine. But I was just like, but we're here and we've already put our time in and she's just going to hire some kid. And it wasn't an age thing because the guys that worked at night were older than us. So it wasn't an age thing. So I'm just like, is this just like you only allow boys to work at night and like that one girl, or what's the problem? Like, why can't we work at night? So I didn't like that. So in my mind, I'm like, my days are numbered because that's not fair, right? And it also brought me back to a little bit of karma. I'm gonna go back to karma that is coming back to bite me in the ass because when I was working at the Lost and Found years ago, my ex that I was living with at the time, he was laid off. And he did like video game stuff, you know, so he got laid off. And I was like, well, you better get a job quick because that severance runs out quick and unemployment goes real fast, you know, and then before you know it, you're broke. And he just wasn't doing it as quickly as I would have, you know. I would have been like every day on the computer, like calling people, or whatever, get a job. And he just wasn't doing that. And then before you know it, no money was coming in. So I said, well, you're going to come to work with me. You're going to bar back with me. I'm going to teach you how to bartend. And I've done that before with other ex-boyfriends. I've helped a lot of people learn how to bartend. So I taught him how to bartend, and I told him, hopefully something will open up and I'll be able to get you a couple of shifts. So that's what happened. In a couple of months, a couple of day shifts opened up, I think 2 or 3. And I fought to have him get those shifts because everybody liked him anyway. And he was doing a good job, and I taught him well. And he really actually learned. He was a quick learner too. And he's bartending to this day. He's a very good bartender. So, problem was the girl that was working with us on Friday and Saturday night, she would work with me on Friday and she would work with my friend Tony on Saturday night. She was our weekend warrior, you know, but she was there long enough and she felt like she deserved those shifts because she had been there longer. And she wanted her own shifts, you know. And at the time, I was just like, just be happy with what you have, you know. And she's like, I want my own shifts, you know. I was like, well, you're not getting them yet. And at the time, I didn't really think about her feelings. And then when that happened to me, and I literally, like, she became the owner of the banter. Like, that's the same girl. Like, you know, I don't want you to talk politics, you know, like, that's the same girl. Like, she and I worked together. I didn't get her own, my hair's sticking. I didn't get her own shifts over at the Lost and Found. I gave them to my boyfriend, made her very mad. And, yeah. And so, that was karma for me because I really did feel what she felt, and it like kind of it made flashbacks come back. And I was like, oh my God, I'm such a jerk. So, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, my days are numbered. So that made me very angry, but not like super angry. It was just kind of like, okay, I see how it is. And so what I did was I had a record show on Sunday. We have a record show every Sunday at the end of the month. And after the rush, I just got on my laptop and I just applied to all different types of things. I applied for singing jobs. I applied for all kinds of stuff. And the next day I got a phone call from a guy who does weddings and private parties. And we had a really good conversation. And he's like, you really sound like you know your stuff. You sound like been doing this a while. And you actually sound like he's like, I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but you sound a little older. I've been dealing with these kids that just want all the money and they don't want to do any work, And I'm like, I totally know what you're talking about. So, he said to me, can you work this Saturday and next Saturday? Can you do a couple of weddings with me? You'll be working with me. Please say yes, please say yes, please say yes, please say yes, please say yes. And I love that desperation. Like, remember that from the last video? I was like, love that desperation that Howard Stern, he's like, they were desperate for me. Howard Stern talks about that in the movie Private Parts. So again, he was pretty desperate for me. And so I said, yes, I do have to work though, but I'll figure it out. So this is where it gets wonky. And this is where it gets to be a little unfair as well, because I don't think I was treated very fairly and not getting any covering shifts. She also didn't want anyone to ever cover at night. Like, I couldn't cover at night. I can only cover day shifts. So that's not fair. And then, so I was hoping that she would be cool with me taking these weddings. So usually when you ask this owner anything, her answer is almost always no. And I'm not saying that to be mean, that's just her way. I actually really like this lady, and I miss our talks. We had some good talks about lots of different things, so I'm not gonna talk badly. But she did have a lot of rules, and she did say no to like almost everything. It was just like, yeah, no. It's always no. So I didn't want to ask her in person because I knew she was going to say no. So I went and got my nails done after work, and I sat down, and then I got the cojones to text her, and I said, hey, boss lady, I got asked to do a couple of weddings, one this Saturday and one next Saturday. And I asked the new girl if she could cover for me if it was cool with you. And she was like, yes. And that's another thing. When bartenders start a new job, they're usually broke and they need to work. So they're always happy to do anything extra, because that's just how it is. And I mean, that's how it's been for me. Not broke, but just kind of like limited on funds, So the new girl was like, I'll do it. And for me, like when I started there back in later January, I worked 11 days in a row. I don't even know if that's legal, right? But I worked 11 days in a row, so I didn't think it would be a big deal if Melissa worked that Saturday that was coming up and the following Saturday. And so I asked boss lady, and she was like, no, in the text, this is how it sounded in my head. She's like, no, there's so many things, and you can't just swap shifts, and I decide who covers, and I'm the one who says what happens, and blah, blah, blah. And you have to fill out forms, and there's so many things, and there's protocol. And I was already I already knew I was working these weddings. It was just done in my head. So I said, okay, so I just have to fill out a form, and then I can work this Saturday and next Saturday, the weddings. And she's like, I'll see if I can get it covered. This is what she says in her text. And I said, okay, cool. I'm going to fill out the forms, and I'm not coming in this Saturday and next Saturday because I'm going to work these weddings because I need the money. I'm not making any money here, as you know. I mean, I don't know if you realize I'm not making any money here, but I think you can pretty much see that I get 4 customers a day. So I didn't say all that, but I was saying that in my head. And she just said, I'll see if I can get it covered. Now, the funny thing is, I would have fired me for that. If I said I'm not coming in this Saturday, next Saturday, I would fire me. And I just would have fired me. But she didn't. I came in the next day. She didn't come in at all that day. She had the nighttime bartender do her, managerial duties for her. And then Friday, she came at the very end of my shift. And usually she would say to me, if I come in at the end of your shift and I'm in my office, just hand me your bank and hand me your money and everything. You don't have to put it in the drop. Just hand it to me, And I was like, but I didn't do that because I didn't want a confrontation because I knew I wasn't coming in the next day. So I just didn't hand her the bank, and I just skedaddled out the door and put it in the safe and ran out the door. And so, and then the next day, I told the other bartender, I'm not going to be here. I'm so sorry if you have to work a double, but I'm just not going to be here. I'm probably fired. You know, I text her and a couple other people. I'm like, I think I'm going to be fired because I'm doing these weddings because I need the money, and she's not being fair with me and not giving me any other shifts at night, and that's not fair. And so basically, yeah, the daytime bartender, the morning bartender is like, so you're not coming today? And I'm like, no, in fact, I have an interview right now. I'm at an interview right now. And then later on, I'm going to do a wedding, you know, so I'm not coming in. And I did the wedding, and the money that I made at that wedding is the same amount that I made in 8 shifts at the bar that I had been working. 8 shifts, exactly. 8 shifts, 1 wedding. So I made the right decision is what I'm trying to say. And then I also got another job. Like, I did have an interview at another place, and I got the job, and it was, you know, close by. And that job also didn't work out. Now you're probably thinking it's you. You're the problem, Gail. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Isn't that a Taylor Swift song? Yes, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. It's probably me. But my thing is the reason why I'm even doing this this whole series is just to show like things that you're gonna have to go through as you get older. And also just, you know, I am going to show my weaknesses, but I'm going to show my strengths too. And when you push yourself to do these different things, you see how strong you are. And you see a lot of different fun things and different avenues to go down. And some aren't good and some are. And so I did the wedding, and then I text the owner, and I just said, hey, I got another job. I think it's going to work out, and it's a little more lucrative, so I can work the next 3 shifts there if you need me, but if you don't, I prefer not to work, and I'm sure you would prefer it if I didn't work. And she said, I accept your immediate resignation. And that was the end of that story. And then she told me I could never go back there again. But that's her policy. She says when people quit, or if I fire them, that's just a policy. So I'm not taking that personally. I actually still really like her. I like the lady. I just didn't think she was very fair, but I liked her. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And I tried the next bar, and that didn't work out. And that's gonna be a little spicier, I think. I have some good stuff that I'm gonna talk about in that video. And then I think I'll be done with God Doesn't Want Me to Bartend Anymore, and or at least in neighborhood bars. You know, I think he just wants me to do more upscale stuff, or yeah, that kind of stuff. But thank you guys so much. This is Go See Gail. Thank you for checking in with me. Thank you for subscribing. I'll see you soon, and check in with me soon. And the next video will be up when it's up, which should be soon. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.